Welcome back to Studio F, where on Fast Times with Willy B, we'll be talking about The Killer. Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Russell, take it away.
Welcome back to Fast Times with Willy B. I'm Willy B, and today I got my good friend Mike on the pod. Mike, how we feeling today?
Good, man. It's about time I'm here.
And, you know, big Fincher fan along with me.
Yes, sir.
Very underrated director.
Very underrated.
And today we're going to talk about his newest installment, The Killer. So obviously directed by David Fincher. We've got, you know, a solid cast here. Michael Fassbender, the star of the movie. Tilda Swinton's in it.
Also,
Salma Baker.
underrated main role. Like, Fassbender, very underrated.
Oh, for sure. And, you know, we saw what he's capable of in this film. Decent small cast. You know, this movie seemed like it was easy to make with a limited cast, and they did a great job with it. So let's start with the good.
Yeah, real quick. I think it's mainly because it's very heavily focused around the main character.
Yeah.
Which I think we still don't even know his name. He's just the killer.
He's just the killer. He's got how many different names did we see him portray?
Yeah, and real quick, I just loved how, like, detailed they took it when they were getting deep into how assassinations work and how killers' jobs really work.
For sure. So let's talk about the good. I would say my first big good thing is how quotable this movie is. How you said they dive into the killer. Everything he says in that first 30 minutes when he's preparing to, you know, complete his hit.
So monotone and serious that
it's all memorable. Like, you know, music is a great distraction, and don't trust no one. Stay focused, task on hand.
Dude.
Avoid being memorable. Stuff like that.
Do not give a fuck.
Yeah.
That might be the best one.
Yeah. And you don't know where he's going because he says each word, period.
Oh my God.
Word, period. I don't give a fuck. And then he shoots, and obviously he misses.
I think it's so ironic that right after he shoots and misses, he goes, fuck.
Yeah, and you can just see in his eyes, great face acting. Oh my God, great face acting.
Oh, man.
Acting, we're just going to get out of the way. Great. I mean, Fassbender was incredible in this movie.
Deserves so much more.
And all the supporting characters were great, too. I thought Swinton was great as the expert. You know, I mentioned Salma Baker. He was the brute. We obviously get an awesome fight scene between them. He was incredible too. There was no complaints.
Salma Baker in anything else you know of?
I didn't recognize him.
He's so hard to see, and especially in that fight scene. So much going on.
But super quotable movie, and like you said, I love how he breaks down everything.
Oh my God.
And for some people, I feel like that first 30 minutes will be slow, but for us, we were surprised that we were already 30 minutes in.
Right. Because
we were so invested in learning just listening. You know,
hey, time flies when you're having a good time.
Yeah. So because we paused and we're 30 minutes in. I was like,
and then another hour went by like it was nothing.
I thought we were like 10 minutes in.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah, super quotable. And I think this movie, the entire 2 hours, had me on the edge of my seat. Super suspenseful.
Oh my God.
Super suspenseful.
Dude, I feel like I said about 5 times, this is intense.
Yeah.
Like it literally heart rate up like the whole time.
That's not new for us when watching a Fincher movie.
It's a crime thriller. It's a thriller. Like,
when Fincher does such a great job at it. I mean, Seven was super suspenseful. Zodiac, super suspenseful.
Super.
You know, and
even at times Fight Club.
The list goes on, man. When it comes to creating suspense, you could put Fincher up there with the best of them.
Oh, for sure.
And he does another great job here. Some other fun things. We got some great choreographed fights and some like insane like hits.
Yeah.
So obviously the kills when he goes to talk to his carrier, Hodge, you know, nail gun to the lungs, lets him drown.
The thing I loved about his character was that like people know what he's capable of.
Yeah.
But he always does what he does in an unexpected way.
Yeah.
And when you don't see it coming, because he'll have a gun to someone's head, and then you'll be like, is he not going to?
Yeah.
Then you just.
And he also, like, the other thing I loved about that scene is we still get into the mind of him. He's like, non-smoker, middle-aged man, should last 6 to 7 minutes. Then he dies within a couple of minutes. He's like, oh.
He knows the ins and outs of how people die, how long it takes.
Then he keeps Dolores around for a little bit, you know, the assistant, and out of nowhere from being just a little.
Dude, just unexpected.
Insane.
Every time.
We both kind of jumped. We were like,
he did it so quick, too.
Yeah.
Like, so clean and quick.
So after he, does this, that takes you to the Brute. The reason he goes and visits Carrie, first of all, is because after he misses the shot, there's a hit put on him.
Yep.
And
yeah, clearly.
He's not home, so his wife, gets put in the hospital.
Real one.
At the hand of the Brute and the Expert. And so now we see him going after the Brute and the Expert.
Like, how about
dude?
But how about the wife, though, when she finally wakes up and she's just like,
I didn't say anything.
Yeah. And I just waited and waited to see your face again. And it's just like, dude. And she knows all about his job and everything. And she's just a ride or die for him.
For sure.
You got to respect it.
Yeah. But we get to the Brute, man. And like I said, choreography of the fights in this movie was, incredible. And this is the first one we see. And there was even stuff that had us,
Oh,
we get,
exactly.
The Brute gets the end of a table leg up the wrong part of the body.
And I was talking about this, just talking about this before we started recording. Like, I loved the foreshadowing of him walking through the front yard. There's just weight sets everywhere. And you're like, this dude is going to be big.
Big.
And then he is just, throwing him like a rag.
There's a reason his name's the Brute.
Yeah, yeah.
He has a he could be Bane.
That one scene when they're still in the bedroom fighting, and then it pans into the hallway, and you just see him fly out of the door, literally midair. Yeah. I was like, this dude is
a bad man.
Big boy.
But, Fassbender, the killer, gets the best of him.
Oh, he's clearly smarter, you can tell, because he's using everything around him that he can use to kill him.
He knows that he doesn't have the strength advantage, but he has the...
Yes. He's like, I don't give a shit about being a pussy.
Brute doesn't usually come with the mind, and you see that here, and I like that a lot.
And I think the Brute also, it was like a pride thing. Like, he didn't... I bet you he didn't want to kill him with,
for sure.
Cheap shot kind of way. For sure. What I'm saying?
So then that would take us to the Expert, and this was, another great scene. He, crashes her dinner, and she knows exactly who he is, and...
I think, to me, at first, first second, she thought it was who she was
until
meeting,
she noticed the gun, she was like, oh...
She heard the click.
Yeah, she was like, okay. She was like, oh. And here, again, we get some great conversations. Tilda Swinton went into some, speeches that made you think, she was talking about the bear. Yeah. She was talking about a hunter and a bear sodomite. You're sitting there what is going on?
And then she capped it off with you're not here to hunt.
Yeah.
You're here for...
You're here for the bear.
The bear.
And so that was crazy. They leave dinner and...
Yeah, but hold on. But what a weird analogy.
Super weird.
You could have used
Tilda Swinton.
You could have used anything. Yeah, but there's a lot more
There's not very many people that could deliver that story as well as she did.
I think it's just because their jobs are they're so messed up that
for sure
they just have that brain.
Yeah, and they go on a walk, and my favorite part on the walk is he never lets her get behind him. Mm-hmm. He's following her. She trips and falls, and she goes, "Can you help me out?" Yeah, help a lady out, and capped in the forehead.
And she had a knife.
And she had a knife in the hand. And you get inside his mind again, and he goes, "Trust no one."
Trust no one.
And I think that's what I love so much about this is it all connected. Everything he said in that first 30 minutes leading up to the misfire kind of had a full circle moment, whether it be trust no one or, Dude, don't be memorable. All of these things kind of played in each as the movie played out.
We completely skipped over the taxi scene.
Oh, yeah.
That was...
Yeah.
Bro, I mean, that was the biggest, like I said, he kills people in unexpected ways. I genuinely thought...
He was going to let that guy go.
He was going to let that guy go. But then right when he did it, I was like, well, he knows now.
Yeah.
He knows.
You can't let anybody know who you are. Can't be memorable.
You can't be memorable, yeah.
And that's what I mean,
He had to.
He used music, and for a second, let's shout out the music. They used the Smiths for everything, so the same band for everything, and I loved that. I'm a casual fan of the Smiths. I wouldn't say I'm a super fan, but I enjoy their music, and I love when, I always told my one buddy that if I would ever make a movie, it would be really cool to use just the Cars for a whole movie. Like, use one band for a whole movie. And they did that really well here. I thought, the music was great. It always fit.
Seemed like they were, it's a very diverse band.
And the fading in and out of, like, the headphones to the whole world, to the headphones, just, again, playing into the mind of the killer.
Even when he first mentioned, like, music helps as a distraction.
Yeah.
I remember how I mentioned I love the little detail where when he puts the earbud in,
like,
it gets
muffles.
blurry.
Yeah.
It muffles the music. And
yeah.
there's the audio, every little detail was perfect.
Yeah, they did a great job. I can go on and on with the goods of this movie. A very good movie. Do you have anything else to add on goods before we get into, like... I don't think there's anything bad with this movie. I guess for this movie, we'll call it more of the mez, I guess.
Yeah, more of like the... Why?
Yeah. But anything else for the good of the order?
I think we hit the mark on pretty much everything.
Very good movie. Very good movie.
Well, how about, like, how his sleep schedule works? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like he has to
he's
remember how
basically nocturnal.
He has his watch set to alarm himself to get on his side, to get back up, get on his back.
And it's funny because if you watched closely, he started waking up before the alarm.
Yeah.
Like that's how in sync he was with his sleep schedule. Just minor details like that, man. It's what makes Fincher so great.
Yeah, and I think one thing that I kept comparing him to Jason Bourne.
Yeah.
Which you haven't seen the movies.
I know.
Like, Jason Bourne is an assassin, has multiple identities, but it seems like this guy has like. Do you remember the when he first went into his storage room?
Yeah.
He has pretty much
every identity you could think of. Yeah.
Like if he needs one, it's there.
It's there. And armory, everything.
Dude, armory. He's got like. He could pose as any type of person.
And the little facts, too, he's like, there's over 50,000 storage units.
Poses as a recycling guy.
Yeah. There's over 50,000 storage units in America. I have units at 6 of them. Like, just like the way he talks, so monotone, so good. Michael here, big fan of Alien versus Predator. Are you saying that you could really use a Killer versus Bourne movie?
That would be, dude, Killer versus Bourne.
That might be the day Michael dies.
That would be insane. Yeah, I seen that night one for sure.
Yeah. So we'll jump over to, like I said, not the bad, because there's really nothing bad about this movie. There's just some things that are meh. And for me, I would say the first one, we talked about how we loved the first 30 minutes, but for me, I don't know if it was the same for you. The pacing kind of fell off a little bit at some points. Like, it just seemed oddly paced in the second act, I would say.
Yeah. Even the fact that, like, we didn't really feel like half an hour. It just...
The first act flew by, and I'm like, man, that was 30 minutes. And I was like, this is, like, super well paced. Mm-hmm. The pacing fell off a little bit for me. Not enough to, like I said, say it was bad pacing.
I think it also, like... It also came to a point where, like, after that, the miss and him going back to Dominican, I kind of felt like I didn't know what was going on for a second, which is okay. Like, that happens. You got to wait to find out what's going on.
Yeah.
But it just, a lot of stuff started happening right after
Yeah, the ending was a little odd, too. I
was like, where is he going? What is this house? Why is there...
Yeah, when he went to that, we don't get a lot of closure.
Yeah.
I feel like, honestly, the best ending would have been after killing the expert and kind of just running the credits after that. Like, boom.
Yeah.
We don't see the wife again, like, leave you on the edge. And obviously, I'm not saying, like, oh, I need a sequel. I'm not saying that. Yeah. I'm a big fan of a movie that, kills at one time and ends. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But just, like, letting people create their own what happens after he kills the expert type of thing would have been cool.
Yeah, I agree with the ending being kind of meh, but I still think it was good enough to complement the rest of the movie.
For sure.
Like, it wasn't like it wasn't bad at all.
No, not at all. That's really the only complaints I have, man. I really enjoyed this movie.
I thought it was awesome.
I wish I could have seen this in theaters. Obviously, this was a Netflix release on November 10th, and we caught it the day it came out, but I think this would have been really cool on the big screen.
Oh, yeah.
We had a good watch experience in my living room
I'd
together.
Watch it again, too.
Yeah, for sure. It just sucks when they do those limited releases and Canton, Ohio doesn't get them, but... Let's move to our final thoughts. What we'll do with our final thoughts is I'll ask a question here. Give me your top 5 Fincher movies. Does this make the top 5?
Yeah, for sure. Top 5... It's so hard for me. It's always bouncing back and forth between Seven and Fight Club.
Okay.
but I feel like I have to give it to Fight Club.
Okay. So you're
Fight
going
Club
Fight
number
Club.
1.
Okay.
2, 7. 3, Gone Girl.
Okay.
Fire. This is 4. 5 is Zodiac.
Okay. So we have the same movies in our top 5.
Yeah.
1, I'm going 7. I mean, I got the box, man.
Dude,
What's in the box?
You're more of a killer movie.
Just
I love horror stuff.
The Seven
too.
Deadly Sins concept, I think, is so unique.
Yeah.
And no one can ever do it again.
So messed up, dude.
Because, Fincher did it first. And now you're just copying, but
great ending.
Such a good ending.
That's the thing about Fight Club and
both of them.
Fantastic endings.
For sure. I would go Fight Club 2. 3, Zodiac. I love Zodiac. I think that cast, Gyllenhaal's so good in that movie. Ruffalo, Downey Jr., just a stacked cast, and they all, put in top-tier performances.
I need to rewatch that movie.
Every time I watch it, dude, Ruffalo makes me want to, become a detective. Which I know is not, something you can just do on a Switch. Like, you have to go to school for that. But, every time I watch it, I'm like, man, cool. It's just like when I watch A Few Good Men, I want to become a lawyer. It's one of those movies that, I could do that. That'd be so cool. But I'm putting Zodiac at 3. I'm going to drop Gone Girl at 4, and this would be my 5. So this does make the top 5. Like you said, it's on the same level, And
yeah. I think it just seems like it's our top 2. We know our top 2 are both those, and then
3 through 5.
3 through 5 is kind of mixed up a little more. Yeah. But still, it's you guys show we have our own opinions, and that's how the movies are, dude.
Yeah, everybody has
what it's all about, man.
It's the best part about movies.
No, it's the best part, man.
So let's go final scores. Out of 10, what would you give The Killer?
Flat 9.
Flat 9? I was between an 8 and a 9. I settled on an 8 just because, I don't know, man. It would almost depend on the day. If I'm giving it an 8 or a 9. For me, I thought it was a great movie. I just thought it was a hair below Zodiac, which I gave a 9. I love Zodiac. Probably a point more.
Yeah, the reason why it's not a 9.5 is literally because what we just talked about. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic all the way through. Yeah. Then the ending was just a little confusing.
Yeah. I think if you go...
maybe I'd say 8 between 8.5 and 9.
Yeah, if you go a different route with the ending, you're at the discussion of 9, 10. Yeah. But I'm gonna fall on an 8 here.
If I had to pick between 8.5 and 9, I'd say a higher.
Yeah, and I'm at I think about 80 new releases this year, and I'd probably put it top 20. So, very good movie. Probably top 15. It was great movie.
Fassbender just never misses, man. Yeah, that's why I don't.
Fincher never misses. You know that if Fincher's on the director card, you're in for a suspenseful ride. Outside of Curious Cats,
Magneto, baby.
Great movie, Curious Cats, Bend My Button, but as far as suspense goes, that's the only movie that I can think of his where you're not on a train of suspense. But
for sure,
David Fincher's the man. So that'll do it.
Wait, real quick, one thing I want to mention: Have you seen the 300? I think I did ask you that recently. But
yeah,
Fassbender's in that movie.
That's one that's just always eluded me. It's been on my watch list forever. I'll probably hit it eventually.
Straight action.
Yeah,
it's about ancient Greece taking over Persia,
Yeah, I know the concept. Yeah, it's just been this year with so many franchises coming out. My watch list has just been flooded by rewatching those franchises before the movie. Fast 10 came out. I had to watch the first, 9 Fast and Furious.
Yeah,
and so stuff like that. It's my watch list has been taken over this year by franchises.
Kids got to grind, man. Come on.
So
can't blame you.
It'll fall. I got a kind of a slower period in December, so
for
maybe
sure
I can hit it out there, but
I'll watch it with you, man. That's a movie. That's such a movie you could watch so many times.
Yeah. That'll do it for The Killer. Like we said, 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. Great movie. If you haven't seen it yet, please go watch it. Sorry we spoiled it for you, but you watched a spoiler video before you watched it, so that's your own fault.
Yeah.
If you've already seen it and you're coming here visiting after you've seen it, let us know what you think.
Go cry me a river, come on.
Let us know what you think in the comments below, man. I'll talk movies all day, so let us know what you thought of The Killers. Thank you, Michael, again for coming on.
My boy.
And like always, if you like what you're watching, please subscribe, like, comment, and the social links will be in the description down below. So please check it all out. Give me a follow in Fast Times with Willy B. And Michael, you'll be back. Dude, so follow along if you'd like to hear him again.
Thanks for having me, man.
Of course. Thank you all again for watching, and have a great day.
We'll be back
Peace.
for The Killers too,
if it comes. But thank you guys. Have a great day.